Okay, now we're going to have a look at another audio effect called the auto filter. We had looked at EQ before, and we learn about EQ and how it's just a series of filter nodes that we can reduce and increase the volume on certain frequency spectrums. The auto filter is operating the same thing. It's affecting what we hear at different frequencies, except this time around what we can do is set parameters so it will increase and decrease the volume of those frequencies automatically, so hence auto filter. So here we have it in the bottom on our instrument rack. We've got it affecting the chord progression again, and let's just look at some of the main types of parameters. So over on the right hand side, this is what we'll use to control the amount and the way that the filter comes in and out. So let's look at the first thing. So let's choose a frequency range that we want it to be filtering. And then we've got amount. So we can have it really just filtering everything. So you hear nothing above this point coming through, and then eventually it will fade into hearing it all. Okay, coming through, it'll let the sound through above this point. If we reduce the amount, then it becomes a little bit more of a subtle effect. We'll still hear frequencies above this point, but it will just kind of come in and out a little bit more subtly. The rate, okay, we can have it go, the filtering effect play over 8 bars. If I turn it all the way down, we can have it over 1.5 bars, 1, 3/4, going into all the fractions. So we can be really accurate with that. If we go to this little button on the side, it's in hertz. So it's just talking about the hertz frequency and how much the filter will oscillate. I find quite often I want to go to this little note function here, which locks it into time and tempo across your bar lines and grid lines. So I'm going to get this filter effect to go over 1 bar, and I'm going to have it at its full amount, and I'm going to get the shape to be more of a smoother shape, so it's more of a sine wave shape. And let's just have a listen to how that sounds. So you can see it's coming in and out. If I change the rate over 4 bars, or maybe I want to change the way it's cut. Maybe I want to speed up. I'll change the amount. Now let's have a listen to some of the different shapes. So that's a very smooth sine wave shape. Let's have a look at our square wave shapeform. So this is either going to be on or off. There's no going to be any transition between the sounds. So if I crank up the amount and the rate, we'll have a listen to that. Okay, so you can hear it's either filtering or it's letting the whole sound through. We can get a sharper curve, so like a triangle shape. Yep, so that's a bit more of a, it's a bit of a sharper shape than the sine wave, but not quite as sharp as the sawtooth shape. Square wave shape. Now let's have a look at our sawtooth shape. We've got 2 sawtooth shapes. We've got one where it ramps up and then drops off suddenly, and one where it picks up suddenly and then ramps down. So let's look at the one that ramps up slowly first, and we'll go over 1 bar for this. So you can hear how it just slowly ramps up, then drops off suddenly. And then let's have a look at the reverse shape for that. So there we go. We've got a couple of other ones, so a bit more of a random effect. Alright, and then we can go to the other random one. Okay, so that's the basic parameters of an auto filter. There are a couple of other areas you can play around with. So for instance, over on the left hand side, this is our envelope. So this is how the effect starts. So right now we've got a very sharp attack. So as soon as the effect starts, has been triggered, then it will come in straight away. If I change that, you might hear the envelope affect it slightly differently. I'll go on to a sawtooth. Okay, so that's just an area you can play around with. And we can also quantize things in a different way. So we were working with the rate quantized to the note lines, but we can, if we click the quantize button here, we can actually work within parameters around here. Okay, very similar function there, but just a different way of visually looking at it. And also, like in the EQ, we've got different shapes that we can filter. So right now we've got a low pass filter. It's letting all the low frequencies through. If I click the high pass filter, you can see it's just the opposite. We can also look at a band pass that is a boost and a band pass that is a cut. Yeah, so there's a few different things that we can do there. We can also add different types of filtering sounds. So some of them, the clean filter sound is, as it says, clean. But as we add other different types of filtering into it, we can get a bit of distortion into it. So let's just listen to that as the last thing we do. So if I build that drive up, you can hear it change the sound. Alright, so you can see the different filtering settings can change how gritty and how much texture's in the sound itself. So that's filtering. It's a great little little application to use in your production. It can be used in a lot of ways. In fact, if you listen to dubstep, they use a lot of filtering in the sounds, particularly on the bass, to create that kind of unique sound that they have. Once again, check out YouTube. There are loads of tutorial examples online. So once you've gotten familiar with that, check out how other people are using it to create their very unique and specific sounds.